morning, everyone. Happy as if by magic day to you. It's not an official day. I just made that up right now. Welcome to Thursday Conversations with As If by Magic. So what are we going to talk about today? Hi, Twyla. Hello, welcome. We're going to talk about taking and being taken from, and all those fun things, and all of the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions that come up around this topic, and then we're gonna wrap it into magic. So we titled this "How Someone Took All the Magic from the Well." Yeah, happy as if by magic day. I love it. Because how many of us have ever felt that way, as though, hi Leonie, as though our own magic has been like taken from us, where wow, birds just came to hang out with us, or where we're fearful of taking magic or taking energy from other people. Thank you. It is a good topic. It just kind of popped this morning. So where do we start? So I was kind of raised with the idea that all the energy that I possess, like my source of energy, my my essence, was kind of in a container, and this is all that I had. And kind of like you could think of a bucket, or the way it was described to me is I had a basket of apples, okay? And I only had so many apples. And I only have so many apples to give. And if I give away all the apples, then there'll be nothing left for me, and then I'll be depleted. So I really lived my life that way, and I was always looking at, am I giving away all my apples here? And then if I only had like one apple left and someone wanted my apple, I'd be very resentful. Like, no, this is my apple. This apple's for me. Even if I didn't need that apple, I was going to hold on to that apple, because I had decided, I'd bought into all these ideas about limited energy, limited possibility, and me as a limitation. So what we learn with Access Consciousness, and those of you that might be new to Access Consciousness that are going to listen to this now or in the future, is that please check out, everything As If by Magic comes from Access Consciousness. So I realized I didn't finish saying that out loud. So we get this concept called infinite being. And I remember the first time really acknowledging that me as a being, that I am infinite, which means I have access to infinite energy, kind of created a massive relaxation in my world. Because this whole like fighting to protect my limited apples was difficult for me, but I realized it also wasn't true for me. And what is also true for me is that I tend to have a lot more capacity to gift and a generosity of spirit, especially energetically, than a lot of people that I have encountered. It just kind of came in that way. I don't know why. And it doesn't make it right, and it doesn't make it wrong. It's something that I am here to be, and to be trying to control it and limit it actually didn't work for me. So when I got that sense of, whoa, me is an infinite being with infinite energy, which means I can gift infinitely. Relaxation. And that goes with my magic as well. I love when people tell me something that they're creating, or a dream that they have, or a target. If they even just tell me something that they're excited about, or a possibility that they'd like to have, I get so much pleasure out of gifting whatever magic that I be to contribute to it to them, actualizing it to contribute to whatever they're asking for to be even greater than they ever imagined possible. I get so much pleasure and joy out of gifting to that. Lainey says, I heard the same message in a different story. Yeah, can we choose different now? Exactly. Yes, we can. Now I want to talk about taking, and I want to talk a little. So now we have the sense of, wow, I'm an infinite being. So how come sometimes I feel depleted? How come if I'm an infinite being, then how come sometimes I'm like, stop taking from me? Everyone just leave me alone and I want to shut out the world. Well, that could be a multitude of things going on there. But one thing is that you might have walls and barriers up. So as an infinite being with infinite access to infinite energy, you can be cutting off how much energy you're allowing to come in. And that's just your points of view. It might be some reactions that you have that like all the walls come up and you stop receiving. Because as you're gifting, you're actually receiving. It doesn't actually work in a one-way street. Because to gift, to truly gift, not give, is receiving. Hi, Joanne. I feel like I haven't seen you in a little while. How are you? My family as well. I'm so grateful to have you here. And I hope your family is well too. Okay, so when you have that, when you are depleted, when that stuff's going on for you, you might want to ask, okay, do I have some barriers up? Is there someone or something that I'm not receiving from right now that I could be, that if I would receive it, would give me all of the energy I could possibly require? Cool. And now I want to talk about receiving. So as one of those gifter people, if you're gifting your magic to people that do not desire or do not have the capacity to receive it, then that could be another reason why you go into the depleted mode, okay? Because it's exhausting for them to continuously resist you. And it's exhausting for you to continuously be shoving possibility in someone's world that doesn't want it. So, and what occurs, and this, it took me quite a while in Access to really receive this as the way that it works for people. And when I was willing to truly acknowledge it, my whole life changed, okay? So if you gift people more than they can receive, one, it's not kind. And I thought the opposite. I thought gifting someone more than what they're asking for, that's really kind. You know, it's like getting like that bonus. So say you go and you like buy something and then you get like a little, like, oh, here's like a little sample of something or something. I'm like, oh, it's just a bonus. Yeah, it's like they should love that, right? No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way in this case. It doesn't work that way with this, because if you give someone more than they can receive, then they are put into a position where they either have to reject you, they have to send it back with daggers attached, or they have to take from you. Just let that nestle in for a second. So how many of you have walked around your life feeling like everyone's always taking from you, or everyone's always trying to take from you? That you might want to look at. Do you give more than people can receive? Yeah, Leonie, just an 10% extra. Yeah, it's just like a little poof of magic there. Okay, so this taking thing. And then we're going to get what I really want to talk about is the thing at the end of this. But so they either have to reject, refute, they have to send it back with daggers attached at you because they cannot receive it. You got to remember, they can't. At this time, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. They can't receive it. So they can either reject it or they take it. And then when they take from you, you've activated the give and take universe rather than the gifting and receiving that you truly are. And then there isn't that flow of gifting and receiving going on. It's you shoving something in someone's world, and then they have to take it. And then you go, oh, I feel like someone just took from me. I feel taken. So how many of you how much of when you were taken from, were you actually the one in the driver's seat giving more than they could receive? Anything that doesn't allow you to acknowledge that, not out of wrongness, but out of, whoa, cool awareness. Now what can I choose? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So that, my friends, is the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. If you've never heard it before, please check out theclearingstatement.com for more information. It's part of Access Consciousness. It's one of the tools and techniques from there. And we just use it to clear out energy, and that's what we're doing with it today. He says I'm going to loop this combo for the next decade. Yeah. And someone had said, oh, I've never heard that part before, the taking. Yeah. So it's the other part of it, right? And so now, and part of what I want you to look at this is, especially as magicians, I think often we have this sense of, oh, thanks, Leonie, for popping that in, of this fear of your magic being taken. So what if no one could take anything from you unless you gave them more than they could receive? Or unless you gave them permission to take it? Everything that is times of Godzilla, me to strain and creative, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys, yeah. So now we could go deeper into that, rabbit hole, but I think that's a bit of a deeper conversation for this Facebook Live. Twila says, where can you direct your gifting energy if the people around you aren't receiving much? Great question. That's awesome. Okay, so one, I'm going to point out this one huge physical body that is so willing to endlessly receive from you, and it's called the earth. Hi, Marina. So one thing, if you have this abundance of gifting, the earth is always willing to receive from you. It is always, and it will receive more, and it will receive more, and it will receive your gift in such a way that you actually will become more. And that is the power and the gift of receiving. And if you're willing to be this for other people, thank you. If you're willing to receive the contribution, the gift that other people can be, that is so huge. That is so exquisite, because it will actually allow them to become more. It invites them to become more when you're willing to receive the gift of them. And the earth is willing to be that. So one, I invite you to start gifting more to the earth. Earth, what could I gift to you today that no one else can receive? Earth, what could I gift to you today that no one else can even perceive, know, understand, comprehend? Cool. And then the next piece, is start to ask for people to show up in your life that have a greater capacity with receiving. Yeah. So, and then and so as you ask that, you'll start to magnetize those people into your life that are actually really great at receiving. But what you'll also notice is that most of them are going to be very great at gifting. And are you willing to receive the gift of others? So how many of you want to have a bunch of people that are willing to receive from you, as long as you don't have to receive too much from them? Everything matters. Will you just trade it, create it, right and wrong, good and bad, talking about all 9 shorts, boys and girls. Okay, that brings me to the other part that I'm really excited to talk about is, so do you have an underlining point of view that you don't want to take from others? Now, some of you, this won't apply. You're like, no, that doesn't match anything. And for others, you're going to go, whoa, yep. How many of us, because we've been taken from so often, that we have decided that we wouldn't do that to someone else, and we don't want to take from someone else, especially those really generous people. Those people that are just so generous and they're constantly gifting and they're constantly looking at, what else could I gift? Who else could I gift to? And you're just like, man, I don't want to take from them. They're so busy gifting to everyone. I'm not going to be one of those people. I'm not going to be one of those people. I actually have a story. The first time I met Dr. Dane here, those of you new to Access Conscious, Dr. Dane here is the co-founder of Access Consciousness. He's a certified facilitator, and I was at one of his advanced classes. And the one thing I noticed is everywhere I looked, it was like I could perceive energetic, like people just trying to plug in their cord into him anywhere they could. Like they just wanted to take, and they wanted to take, and they wanted to take his time. They wanted to take his attention. They wanted like there would be a massive hug line at the end of class. And most of those hugs were about, they were looking at what could they take from him? What could they pull from him? What could they take from him? And I was like bombarded by it. And I had decided and concluded, I will not be one of those people that takes from him. He's such a generous, kind person. I won't do that. So I spent a day and a half not taking from him. And it was difficult in a way, because there was this energy that I didn't know at the time that was going on. There was this energy of gifting and receiving that I didn't understand, and I was absolutely rejecting it and refusing it. So then I had bought his embodiment book, which is an awesome book if any of you are inclined to read it. And I'm kind of ridiculous sometimes. And I was holding the book and telling these people I was so excited to read it. And then I saw him standing over there. It was just between lunchtime, and I ran up and I like rubbed the book on his really nice jacket. I was like, I'm just gonna like, put your energy all over this book. And he said, well, that's awesome, but a hug might be good too. And I was like, oh, okay. And because I had decided now, remember, I was not going to be one of those people in the hug line. I was not going to be one of those people that took from him. I was not going to be one of those people. So if any of you have had the opportunity to hug Dane or someone like him, it is almost impossible not to receive while you're there. You kind of have to run away or you have to melt into receiving. And so what happened is, as I was receiving that hug from him, I just started to cry. And he asked, what are the tears about? And I said, I didn't want to take from you. I tried so hard, and now I'm doing it. I'm doing that taking thing. And he said, well, is it taking or is it actually receiving? So I had to realize in that moment that one, I'm different, that the people that were doing the taking from him, I'm not like them. So I didn't have to actually try to resist being like them, because I'm not. And also, there was this space of contribution that opened up the moment I was finally willing to receive Yeah, melt, exactly. But I had to let go of this, had to let go of this very strong point of view and this very strong choice that I had made, this decision rather, that I was not going to take from him, especially from him because he was so generous with his energy. And in that refusal to take, what I was actually doing is I wasn't receiving. And I was, in a lot of ways, I was receiving from the class, I was receiving energies, I was receiving awareness, but like the opening the floodgates of receiving, I was controlling it to make sure that I wasn't doing taking. So for those of you, yeah, Leonie says guilt comes up pretty massively. Exactly. So it was this guilt factor. And that, my friends, is the give and take universe. So in the give and take universe, if someone gives you something, then eventually you're going to have to give them something back. Or there's like owing going on. That's the give and take universe. Okay? That's the apple thing. I gave you 2 apples last week. My basket's pretty low. I need some apples back from you, or some oranges or whatever. Fill my basket up. The gifting and receiving universe, there is no tally. You can't ever measure how much you've gifted and how much you've received. It's immeasurable. And that is magic. That is the magic of being, is the magic of gifting and receiving. So every once in a while, you might meet someone, you just might happen upon someone that that has a massive capacity to gift. And what if you were willing to receive, and not just a little bit, but if you actually received as dynamically and as potently as you can from those people, how much of a gift are you being for them? Because the question that was posed earlier is, what happens if you have a lot of people around you that aren't receiving very much? So what happens to that person that lives their life that has so much to gift and no one to receive from them? Do they become more? Do they get to see what they're capable of? I mean, for some they'll find a way, but for others it has that stopping point. Because when you receive from someone, you're acknowledging them as a gift. And so let's take the Dane example. So he has, let's say, 50 people taking from him, and he has 4 people willing to receive from him. What massive contribution does that create? What gift is that in his world? But if all 4 people decided, you know what, everyone's taking from him, I'm not going to receive, I'm going to cut that off, and then all he has is 50 people taking. Different perspective, huh? Yeah. Leonie says, it's taking from judgment and receiving from no judgment. Yeah, exactly. It is. Taking has to have a judgment attached to it. And that's part of that give and take universe. And it's always calculated. And then you have to judge how much was given. You have to judge how much was taken. You're on, like the scales, you're constantly in this space of judgment. And was it good enough? Like what you were given? And then whose point of view? Who gets to decide? The gifting and receiving universe has no judgment. It has no tally. It has no end. It is just infinitely magic, infinitely gifting, infinitely receiving, because you are an infinite being and you're exchanging with another infinite being. And then Cass says, how much in the act of receiving is it also the dance of gift and communion? Yeah, exactly. Joanne says, I don't like hugging unless someone is crying. Then I feel deep desire to hug them. What is that? That's a great question to ask, Joanne. What is that? So what occurs for you when you hug someone that isn't crying? And then so get like really vulnerable with that. What shows up for you? And then also ask, what are you aware of with other people? So I know with some people that I have to give them a quick hug, and I have to like quick hug and then okay, stop touching, because that's as much as they can possibly receive. And that's okay. And it doesn't make me wrong. And I used to make myself wrong for that. It doesn't make me wrong. It doesn't. And it doesn't make them wrong. That's just where they are in that 10 seconds. And then I know other people that I can embrace and be with. And it's like in that moment, universes are created. And when I'm embracing them and hugging them, I'm not going, what can I gift to them, which is actually that giving. It's not gifting and receiving. I'm like trying to shove something into someone's world. I'm actually asking what I can gift, but I'm also receiving the gift of them. So gifting and receiving requires total presence. Yeah, I would say yeah. To be truly and totally in gifting and receiving would require that presence. Leonie says, I notice that I gift a lot. Be the gift, and that person doesn't gift back. It's not that he takes. I see how I can make his life better, but he never returns it. Is that the same as what we're talking about? Well, even that you're going into he never returns it, do you notice that there is an obligation there? Because true gifting and receiving, there isn't a return. There's no return on that investment. So when you tap into the earth and you go, Earth, what can you receive from me that no one else has the capacity to receive from me? Every time I ask that, I either want to cry or my whole body just like relaxes. Okay. I'm not going, okay, I'm not waiting for my return from the earth. I'm not waiting for something back, because its receiving of me is the gift. So with this person, Leonie, you might ask, so you can gift a lot, but can he receive what you're gifting? Or is he taking? And all of you, do you have someone in your life where, and I have to look at that even with, I do private sessions. So some people they'll choose the accelerate package. Okay. And so we have these 30-minute like rapid accelerate sessions. And there's some people that really like at the end of the 30 minutes, we're all like, okay, cool. We did this and we'll meet on the next. So it kind of like these packages where we meet weekly. And other people, I could perceive them like trying to pull for more time, pull for more. They want like, it's just like a desire or a requirement in their world to have more. And then I always have to be in the question. So because I had the capacity to facilitate and be with someone for days, like I mean, I'm a facilitator. I do workshops over 4 days or more, right? So in that I have to look at, is this person trying to take from me right now? Or is there a gifting and receiving that goes beyond, that requires to go beyond these 30 minutes? And so in those cases, I'm willing to, because time is somewhat irrelevant. And Sometimes you have a schedule and you have to get on to the next thing, the next meeting. So um, when I have those types of clients that are always looking at, they function from a place of lack. So they're always looking at what more can they take, because they have lack in their world. What more can they take? What more can they get out of this? Can I get a discount? Can I get a deal? Can I get more? Can I get more time? They're always looking at that. What can they take? So those, and I have no judgment of them. I just have to be aware for myself as someone that loves to gift. Oh, did I step into that place again where I'm giving, they're taking? Oopsies. Okay, cool. And then I have that in my awareness. And then there's people that are just such beautiful receivers, that having that little extra whatever is a huge contribution to me and to them. So Leonie said, yes, I got that. Thank you, in reference to, is he willing to receive? And then we have some, wow, so beautiful. We have mutual acknowledging simultaneously with the earth. Yes. Joanne says, I feel the need to take their pain and comfort them in return. I am weird. I have a strong sense to protect and fix. So, my dear friend, you might be a dynamic healer. And yeah, you might want to ask. There's so much about that, and more than I think we could go into on this Facebook Live. But just look at, where does that work for you? Where does that generate your life and your body and your world? And then where does it not? And start to look at removing the where it does not actually work for you, and into the places of where it does work for you. Caroline says, I start to ask the earth daily, if you can get anything out of this, what would it be? My awareness of receiving changes dynamically. Oh, that's so cool. She said, thank you very much, Cassy. Thank you. Melanie says, I get that the person is functioning from lack, so he is a helpless kid and I'm there to rescue him. Proving how strong and perfect you are. Awesome. Good job. And I say that in jest because it is interesting when we come to that awareness of, oh, I'm doing this proving thing, or, oh, wow, I thought I was being a gift, but really I put myself in a situation of being taken from, just because they're functioning from lack. Yeah. So one of the most bizarre things, and this is something I had to really work on, and to be honest, I still find myself like, oh, I chose that. Okay, cool. Or I was about to choose that and I've stopped myself, is looking at that, what that is for you. So when you step out of gifting and receiving and you go into the give and take universe, and do you want to be in the give and take universe, or would you like to function from the gifting and receiving universe? Yeah. And so how many needs do you all have to fulfill others' lack? Everything that is times a constantly. We just are in a creative place, right, wrong, good, a bad, pocket pot, all names, shorts, boys, and meals. So here's the thing. By you giving, so people that are functioning from lack, that are always looking to see what they can take from you, by you giving to them, you are actually feeding the cycle of lack for them, while thinking that you're going to heal them, and you're going to finally give them what they require so that they can nurture themselves and they can love themselves and they can heal themselves. But guess what? They don't, because you become the source, and all they know is lack and take and lack and take. They don't ever actually get to come out of it. They don't ever get to be empowered from it. So when you're in a dynamic like this, and I have been myself, and when you change the roles that you play with people in this way, there can be upset. There can be separation. There can be confusion. But truly, if you're willing to be vulnerable with that person, if you're willing to have those conversations and they're willing to be vulnerable, you can get to the place where you activate contribution with them. And wow, is that different? So just right now, look at all the people that you're doing give and take with. And what would it be like if you were in total and true contribution with them? How different is that? And part of that means that you gift, 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 and when their receiving stops, you stop. Do not put them in a position of taking or rejecting you. And would you be willing to receive more from the people around you that are desiring to be a gift? Leonie says, I now become aware of what I'm avoiding and even needing myself. Cool. Yeah, and if you guys find yourself like, oh man, I'm the taker. I'm the one always taking. I'm the one always like just trying to pull more time from someone. And just trying to get more, like that, like I'm functioning from the lack. It's never enough, no matter how much time someone spends with me or no matter what someone gives me. Not from an awareness of like greater possibilities, but from that space of lacking. Then you could just go, okay, awesome. So is this lack even true? Where am I making this real when it's not? Because you are an infinite being. And would an infinite being lack anything? No. So somewhere you bought a lie along the way. You could be mimicking someone else. You could have bought that something that was someone else's was yours. Think of like how many tired moms and dads with their newborn baby are like lacking sleep. They live from a lot of lack in the first year, lacking a shower, lacking a lot. And so we become very aware of the energy of lack from a very young age. So where did you buy that you lack anything? There we go. And would you give up your own lack, your own lies of lack, so that you could be in the magic of gifting and receiving? And Caroline says, yes, that was a huge shift of energy. My reality to choose from gifting and taking and helping to being the contribution. Me too. It changed things dynamically for me. And I used to need to sleep like 12 hours a day because I was always exhausted. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for this conversation today. This was really fun. So what melting into contribution could we all choose? Would you be willing to receive from those people that are so generous of spirit? Those people are just so amazing. They have a lot to gift. Would you be willing to be one of the people that receives that gift? Yeah, and would you be willing to be the gift that you truly are? Thank you guys. We will see you next Thursday. Bye for now.